All right. This is Danae Brooks, and I am here with Representative Renee Pack. This is a mini podcast series to talk about state finances, just interview a couple of legislators to get to know their perspective. And so, kicking it off this morning with Representative Pack, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me, Zane.
Yeah. So I don't want to take up a lot of time, but I thought it'd be great if we can just talk a little bit about your role, your background, and any advice or thoughts that you have in general about state finances. So we'll start off. Can you talk to me about just like your background? How'd you get here?
How did I get here? It's been a road, but we don't have time for all that. So I'll try to abbreviate it. First of all, I am a military brat, grown up, and decided to honor my own father who died in 1981. And I signed up and enlisted in the military in 1986, served for 5.5 years. And then I ETS for estimated time of service. And at that time, I had 2 children, and I just needed to be able to focus on them. And we were also involved in the Gulf War, and I didn't want to be in that position again to possibly leave them to go overseas. But I'm from Nashville, Tennessee originally. After I got out of the military, we moved to Indianapolis because I had been stationed here. My first duty station was here at Fort Ben Harrison, and I decided that I wanted to come back here and live. I really liked the city. Had a lot of hardships at the beginning, unemployment, and just really kind of lost at that time and kind of desperate. Went through a period of homelessness with my 2 children. And anyway, through the years, things have built and built and have built up. So now it's down. I have 4 kids, a great husband, Sean Pack, and we have really, really worked on community service and giving. And at this time, I can't believe where I came from sometimes to see that I'm involved with my community, not just community, with my state through a political role. Back in 2008, I was watching the acceptance speech of Barack Obama up in Chicago. And I'd always wanted to get out there and do something more. I was very involved in my community. But when I saw him and his family out there and listened to his speech, I felt it in my spirit that this is what I'm going to be doing. And that was 2008. I did not actually get asked to run for an office until 14, which I ran for trustee, lost by a very small margin. I always like to put that. I lost.
Yeah.
And then again in 2018, my own House Representative, Carly Mazer, decided to retire. And she really encouraged me to run. And here I am today, 4 grown children, a dog, 2 granddogs, and just very excited to be where I am and be in a position to influence change and even make change.
Awesome. That's a great story. I didn't know that background, so thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, we'll have coffee and talk more.
Yeah, for sure. So are you still active military?
No, I got out in 91, did reserves till 94. So yeah, I've been out for a long time now.
So what's your job, like your other day job now?
I am an educator within the Student Services Division at Ben Davis High School in beautiful Wayne Township. I went back to school back in 09 and finished my bachelor's degree in business. Decided to go back when I really got very serious about education and have my master's in educational leadership, my PUI.
That's awesome. Thank you. And I knew that, but I just asked because I think some people forget that like politicians or legislators actually have like day jobs too, a lot of them. So it's like some roles do, some roles don't. So I just try to, clarify that.
Yeah.
So you sit on the Economic and Business Development Committee,
Commerce, small business, and economic
Small
development.
Business and Economic Development. Can you talk about like the premise of that committee? Like how'd you get on that committee and your just kind of general interest there?
Well, I'm a small business owner, and at the beginning of session, when I first came in, you're asked what committees you want to work on. Not that you're going to get them, but you put it out there. Of course, I said education. I said human affairs and families, um, veteran affairs, of course, and then small business, economic development, commerce. Were also on that list because of my background, uh,
Mhm.
my Stella and Dot business. Um, so anyway, that was chosen for me out of my own list. I also serve on veteran affairs, and I also serve on human services and families. All are right down my pike, except for education. I would love to be able to serve on the education committee if I win this reelection. But we hear this year we heard 10 bills in this committee, and that's not really a lot. Most of the other committees have a lot more, but the bills that came to us were very specific for us. Um, and if it was just not close enough to our area, it would undoubtedly go to some other area that it was more related to. So we had committee meetings. We heard these 10. The bills that were submitted were 10, but we heard even less than that. One of the really contentious bills that we discussed was HB 1043, and that was the hemp bill. A lot of our farmers are very, very adamant in pushing legislation to regulate hemp and cannabis use and making it legalizing it. And it didn't pass. Did I vote for it? No, I don't think I voted for it, but I remember I was thinking in my mind, okay, now all of a sudden we have these farmers across the state and businessmen and women who want to legalize hemp and make a lot of money. There's a lot of money in that. But we have so many people sitting in prisons right now
Mhm.
for those types of offenses. How are we got to clean that up? How are we going to give restitution to those who are in prison right now? Are we going to release them, or are we going to have people making money off of it and still people in jail serving time?
Mhm.
So if it just wasn't clear cut enough for
Mhm.
some more work.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that because I think that is a question for people as we do think about, okay, like we should legalize this. Okay, but then it's also like, well, how do you decriminalize
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
as well? So thanks for bringing that up. One thing that I've been talking about is like from a budget perspective, make like reinvesting back into our communities and making sure that small business owners and Black owned businesses and Latino owned businesses are getting an equal share of resources and opportunities. Do you have any insights into that?
What I can say, and I don't want to get out of my lane here, but what I can say is that we were supported somewhat during the pandemic. We did get some help with moving our businesses along, or just not. Sometimes we didn't move; we just sustained them and
Sure.
kept things open. But I believe that minority small businesses really need to be educated, and they need better access, more recognition for their businesses, and of course, more funds. And whatever can happen in your capacity, that would be absolutely wonderful. We're talking about in the House of Representatives, we've got 71 Republicans, 29 Democrats. It gets very difficult to get things across the finish line, especially when it comes to issues of race or gender. Um, and that's included in the business world too. So we
Right.
do need extra help to keep our Black and brown businesses going and flourishing.
Got it. That makes sense. One last thing. I would say if you had a, motion sensor lights.
I'm in a classroom by myself, and this
Yeah. If
one
you
day
had,
a Zoom meeting where everything goes right.
yes. So one last thing, if you would leave us with like your time serving as a representative, what has been maybe the most rewarding? Like I know, it can be a challenge and you talked about, kind of being in the super minority, but as a community servant, what has been maybe the most rewarding experience for you so far?
This position gives you so much leverage, in your communities, in our city, in our state. And what I mean by that is because the people decided and voted for us to be in these positions, we're able to really stretch out there. We have access to people, addresses, phone numbers. We can just go by, talk to them. We go walking almost every other night, knocking on doors. So I think the most important thing I can do is be on the ground, boots on the ground with the members of my own constituency. They talk to me, and it doesn't even have to be partisan. We're all folks here trying to make it. We're trying to work, take care of our families. So I think that the ongoing communication that I'm able to have with constituents, friendships I built, I think that's the most rewarding part of what I do. And in the state house, speaking out on issues that are tremendously important to me and to my community and to women and to our minorities is absolutely big. Um, and my two passionate ones were HB 210-2 last year, which had to do with education, and then, of course, the abortion bill, SB 1 this year.
Awesome. Thank you. This is great. And, I'm really just trying to use my platform to encourage other people to get involved in one way or another. Um,
Yes,
and so I think it's good for people to hear like your story and learn about my story. And, you can have a career and then go into politics and then use your experience, to help the communities in a greater way.
right.
So thank you for sharing this. Is there any last words you want to give?
Well, I appreciate you so much and the other campaign nominees that are on this ticket. You all are making history, and I didn't know I'd see it in my lifetime. But I also wanted to mention, I talk about things and stuff and what's happening, but it's an opportunity always to also to tell you that my faith has sustained me through the years. My husband is an associate pastor, and I'm a licensed evangelist in the Church of God in Christ. So, even that was a journey, but I have to give honor to God for everything that's going on in my life. This was not even in my wildest dreams. And so, whoever's listening, if God gave you a dream, He ain't lying to you. It's coming. You just got to work and plug away and stay faithful.
That's right. Thank you for bringing that up because a lot of people don't. My husband is a pastor, so I talk about this all the time. And I'm like, we
Mm-hmm.
don't talk about faith in a way publicly that allows people to connect, that
Mm-hmm.
you can walk in faith and be a person of faith and communicate that on a larger platform. And so I think the more that we talk about it openly, it encourages other people to be confident and just use it in a way that we're showing that we're operating in love and we're caring
Mm-hmm.
for people and we're offering grace to people. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up because I definitely feel like I don't know how I got here, but then I look back and I was like, God knows how he was orchestrating all the steps and all the pieces, and it didn't make sense
We
originally.
know.
But now you look back and you're like, oh, that was all God that put this
Yep,
together.
that
So
was just him. We got to
yeah,
get together soon. Maybe
yeah,
when things die down a little bit.
yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you again. And I will post this on my YouTube and I'll send you all the links and everything. So this is
Thank
great
you.
talking.
Talk to you later.
All right. Bye bye.